Hey everybody, welcome back to Plague Island, y'all. It's good. We're all having a good time. We're all having a great time, you know? Hey, did you know that there are Nazis reviewing movies on this website? Now, film criticism, like any other medium, can be used to press forth any type of meaning, any form of point. It is a form of art, and I will defend it as art. However, art for the purpose of pushing a direct agenda, that is propaganda. Now, there is nothing intrinsically wrong with something being propaganda, but it should be labeled as such. You know, during World War II, there were a bunch of pro-America cartoons fighting the Third Reich. I wouldn't necessarily say that those were evil in any sense, but they were propaganda. They were one-sided, and anyone with a bit of nuance can tell that these were meant as a tool to fight the much more evil Third Reich, rather than as a reflection of reality that American values were just, really that good. It was to prop us up. Propaganda. It's a prop. Reviews, too, can be that way, and chief among people using review as propaganda is ER. Now, this guy is obviously a Nazi, and that debate has been settled 100 times over. He was platformed by PewDiePie, and that led to some blowback because people found the things he was saying in his videos, very transphobic stuff, repeating verbatim Nazi conspiracy theories about Charlottesville. Like, it's all there. It's all out there. The debate is over. The guy is a Nazi. I'm not here to explain how or why he is a Nazi, because it's obvious. I'm here to say, guy's also a shit reviewer. Can't do the review thing. He's just so bad at it. He doesn't know how to talk about movies. And it's really telling, too, the types of media he picks. Like, he always picks these movies that are, have something to do with, social change or social justice, basically anything that, affects the status quo, and is usually critically acclaimed. He paints himself as this, alternative media sort of guy. And it really doesn't work because he doesn't have any other reasons beyond picking a target for disliking these things. And I think there's no better example of how he just completely fucks up, honest review than his Mad Max Fury Road video, or as he childishly calls it, Furiosa and Mad Maxine Feels Road. Now, I tangled with ER last time on JUNC when I did a video about my top 9 favorite Western cartoons, and I mentioned The Legend of Korra, which he famously hates because of course he does, and I said, hey, great editing in your videos. I paid him a compliment. I paid this Nazi a compliment 2 years ago. I said, great editing in your videos, but I disagree with all your points about Legend of Korra. Dude comes into my chat, tells me a lie about the production cycle of Legend of Korra and says that, Avatar The Last Airbender had more troubled production. It didn't. That was a blatant lie. And then I tried to respond, and dude backs out, and now the entire comment thread is deleted. So, and I think the video is privated too. So, no proof at all of this anecdote. All I can say is, I paid you a compliment, dude. I said your editing was good. And now I it's not really, it's fine. I'm on Final Cut now, so I could probably edit better than you. I could edit circles around you, man, just like I can think circles around you and, be a good empathetic human being circles around you. This is virtue signaling. I'm doing it, because, I don't give a shit. That's really something to put into perspective. That, 2 years ago I was willing to be like, I overlook that somebody was a Nazi and just talk about their craft. And now I'm like, well, no. So let's go, boy. This is a showdown. I'm going to go into your video, and I'm going to try not to kill myself by how boring and stupid and hacky your reviewing chops are. Oh, and to make it fair, since I know you are a weeb, I, too, will select a little, anime avatar icon. And, I'm halfway there to, going to your Lolicon forums and posting Alita memes. I'm halfway there, man. I'm gonna meet you on your level, all the way down at the bottom of the ocean with the rest of the fucking kaiju. Let's do it, bro. Let's go. You and me.
Let me preface this review by saying that I haven't seen the other films in the franchise.
Woo! Fake fan! Got 'em, boys! No, really. Exum Erectum goes on to say that he thinks the entire setting and premise of the Mad Max franchise is R-worded, and slips in some quick apologetics from Mel Gibson's anti-Semitism. Barely 5 minutes in, and we're already off to a bad start.
My name is Max.
Narration. Well, not a minute in and already we're off to a bad start. Need I remind anybody, film is a visual medium. You're supposed to show us visually what is going on, not tell us.
Oof, I can tolerate that he's a Nazi, but does he have to be a Nazi about show don't tell as well? Hey Elongated Roast, that show Avatar The Last Airbender, which you are using to illustrate your point and also claim to be a fan of, constantly uses narration as a storytelling tool. Like literally once an episode. The series even opens like this.
My grandmother used to tell me stories about the old days, a time of peace, when the Avatar kept balance between the Water Tribes, Earth Kingdom, Fire Nation, and Air Nomads.
It's fine. You are a Nazi after all. You have a right to be inconsistent. Makes about as much sense as any of your other beliefs.
I sure hope that we get some more insight into this tortured character, see what really makes him tick, and the sequence of events that led up to his capture.
Psych! That's the wrong
Cinematic motion picture.
Sorry, but beyond this point, Max ceases to be a character and becomes little more than a prop to tell the story of the actual main character of this film, Furiosa.
Now I must remind everyone again that Embolism Ranch has not seen any other Mad Max movies, so when he starts lactating milk tears over the fact that Max is supposedly not a character, he's basing that opinion off of a version of the character he has literally never seen even once. Oh, and he goes on such a lovely little baby tantrum about Furiosa.
Now, I have to applaud Feels Road for leading the progressive stack with the very first trans woman protagonist. Wait, the wiki doesn't mention anything about that. No, but if she were an actual woman, this would make her the utterly cartoonish depiction of a she-man, the old man with breasts cliche. That can't be right. Maybe these are just her preferred pronouns? Either way, I guess I'll use she for the rest of this review.
Fucking wow, PC much? Aw, he's pretending so hard to think like the strawman progressives that live in his head. To think that that's the closest he'll get to ever having empathy for a fellow human being.
She's doing this at the behest of the Citadel's leader, Immortan Joe. Is that really his name? Joey here is something like a god in these here parts, and accordingly, he tries to keep up that appearance. Except he is one fat, diseased, ugly motherfucker. And American? Basically, Joey controls the water. Water is incredibly precious in this world, so when these poor saps get to see it, they act like crack addicts, trying to lap up as much of it as possible. But because Joey doesn't leave the spigot on,
I never let the water run down.
Epidermis Rod is spending an awful lot of time condemning the movie for villainizing a fat and ugly man.
And look at Joey's military force of cultic followers, who are absolutely nothing at all like Muslims, we swear it. Look at how he keeps a room full of cow women to make milk for him. Is that not just the most evil thing you ever did see?
Interesting. No, I just find that interesting. It's, I wonder why he's so invested in that. I mean, we'll never know what this coward looks like, so body shaming him, I guess, is pointless. I'd rather brain shame him, because there's plenty to work with there.
See, Joey is fat.
Triggered.
In this world of limited resources, being fat is an even greater condemnation of self-indulgence than it is in Burgerland or Cuck Island.
Also, visual signifiers being used in a visual medium to hint at a character's role in the story is the definition of showing, not telling. So, what is it? Filmmakers can neither show nor tell? Wow. The inconsistency. Sure, I know that there is more to the conversation. I know this. I am nuanced. For example, I thought the fact that Thor gained weight due to depression in Avengers Endgame was a good character choice, marred by a series of obsessively judgmental insults throughout the film. It's absolutely true that overweight people have a rough stigma attached to them, and their depiction in media is often negative as a result. Emu Rump Toucher should know that last segment of his video contained many negative depictions of fat people, all of which he chose purposely to put in there. Makes you wonder about his ulterior motives, doesn't it? Economic Reaganist goes on to stand Immortan Joe for 2 solid minutes, which is always a good sign. Seriously, is this CinemaSins? Does he not understand the very simple and demonstrable fact that Immortan Joe is hoarding resources from his people and using very impractical distributions in order to keep them enthralled? Even if we accept Exposition Rage's fanficky as fuck idea that Immortan Joe has built a quote-unquote functional society, He's still raping his wives like nobody's business. Expected rain check has an answer for that too, though.
Damn, if I had a uterus, I'd be living it up in that bedazzled crib with my legs wide open 24/7, rather than mucking about in the dirt wondering if I'll ever taste water again.
Hey, easily roused? You what, mate? If having a post-apocalyptic sugar daddy is your kink, I won't shame you for it. But the fact that some of the characters in this movie make the choice not to be permanently enslaved by a deranged warlord, that's their decision, buddy. This goes past the usual characters are making decisions I don't agree with thing that most hack reviewers pull, and goes straight out into the territory of people should behave this way in these situations in real life. Considering the subject matter, what an asshole Extra Ridiculous is. What an asshole. Let's see. More bitching, more cinema sins, more stupid, unfunny meme interludes. Man, where did the dog whistles go? I didn't just want to watch the Nostalgia Critic. If there's one thing I can't stand with hack reviewers, it's the over-reliance on summary. I mean, what is the point of summarizing a movie unless it's something the audience hasn't seen? Entrance Roadblock talks about this movie as if no one in his audience knows what the fuck it is. Probably because if they actually watched it, they realize his hot takes are just hot garbage.
Now, this is easily my favorite scene in Fields Road, because it's all of these women ganging up on Max while he's dragging along a comatose body and a car door, and he still manages to fuck them over.
Wait a second. Are you telling me that Mad Max, the Mad Max, is a badass? And that most of these women without combat experience and the one with it lost a confrontation to him? Because he is more skilled? What? Also, Nux isn't a comatose body and is an active participant in the fight. Did you miss that, or are you just lying about that? Seriously, dude, it's a 2-on-1 fight against just Furiosa. Of course he comes out on top, cause he's fucking Mad Max. You dumb asshole. Also, it's very clear why that scene is his favorite one in the film.
He done did it. Made a clean escape, left behind exactly what his pursuers wanted, and has a ton of water to last him however long. A damn good job of surviving, Max. You know, it would be hilarious if the movie just dumped these pointless empty characters, and Max got to be the star of his own movie again.
Yeah, so when Extremely Racist was saying that that scene was his favorite in the film, he wasn't complimenting the imagery, fight choreography, or character portrayals. He just liked the outcome of the scene, without any consideration for the craft itself, or even the feels, as he derogatorily calls them. If nothing else, this is the most telling point to appraise Engorged Rodent's reviewing chops from. He's literally not engaging with the text here, instead focusing on identity politics. He is just overjoyed that the man won, and would rather the man not face adversity. What is this forced diversity garbage? I mean, it's not like he's made a single point so far, but this is phenomenally stupid. Again, he has not watched the original Mad Max movies, but wants Max to be some kind of unstoppable Mary Sue. And you know this guy doesn't like Rey from the Star Wars movies. So again, there is no consistency. Man do thing good. Woman do thing bad. It's primal, traditional, nostalgic. Literally the way he describes this entire movie is just as these moving parts. This is fascist. They don't understand art. It's just what fascists do.
The rest of this movie is just chase scene after chase scene after chase scene, interspersed with snippets of the girls complaining.
He's a crazy smeg who eats schlanger.
I'm sorry, what?
He's a crazy smeg who eats schlanger.
Come again?
Crazy smeg who eats schlanger.
I'm sorry, but does that word mean something to you?
Back to the Cinema Sins level takes, I see. I'll translate for you. The DAG is saying that Max is a crazy asshole who eats shit. Like you.
Don't damage the goods.
Okay, whatever happened to the days when one could point a gun at somebody and they'd shut the fuck up? What's with all this snarky backtalk?
Hold on a second, Elliot Roger. Are you really naive enough to think that this is the first time this former sex slave has been held at gunpoint? Also, sometimes in movies, dialogue is written to be punchier and more blunt than when people talk in real life. Because it's fiction. This guy has seen, like, what? 10 movies in his lifetime? Jesus Christ.
There's a particularly horrible scene where the movie tries to pretend it's nighttime, but it's so obviously daytime with a filter thrown over it that it's just painful to watch.
Now this is just being myopic. I mean, how far into your own head and nobody else's do you have to be? This low-emp, limp-dick asshole. Enter redundancy doesn't like the way an intentional stylistic choice in the movie looks, so it must be a flaw. You what, mate? That's not how it works. I guess I should be happy that he's even acknowledged aesthetics at all.
Scene where Max is shooting at bad guys but can't seem to land a hit, so Furiosa to the rescue. Maybe this is supposed to be empowering or something, but the metaphor of Furiosa leaning on Max's firm, masculine shoulders to steady her shot, I don't know.
Literally can't help himself with the identity politics. Escapist Robot can't see these characters as two badasses on roughly the same footing with different strengths and weaknesses. He can't do it. He has to make this about gender. He just, this low empathy dipshit. He just can't see individuals. He can only see the representatives of demographics. This is literally what fascism does to your brain. This is like, even if he wasn't, dog whistling or saying any like stupid Nazi shit or calling out Jews or whatever, this is still really indicative of the type of framework that we're looking at with media, where it's just completely anti-art. Like, this is functionally the same as CinemaSins or The Nostalgia Critic, just also with Nazi shit. And honestly, me personally, as a white guy, I'm way more offended by how much he fucks up being a reviewer. I'm way more offended by the fact that this dude doesn't know how to appraise movies. And literally the rest of the review is just that. He just continues to go on, playing up Max's strengths, downplaying the contributions of the women, saying the stuff's illogical. This video is 25 minutes long. He could have said all this stuff in 10. You literally cut out all the summary, you cut out all the dumb memes, you cut out all the fascist stuff, and what are you left with? You're left with a guy who's like, I want to power scale Max at a higher level than Furiosa. Literally no substance. There's nothing here. There's fucking nothing. I started off writing the script to talk about this video and respond to it being like, yeah, I'm gonna get him. But at this point, I'm just fucking upset that I have nothing to respond to. This is like, oh, God. Empathy is correlated with intelligence. This man lives solely inside of his own skull. This fucker has never been outside. Ugh. All right. Well, now that I have cringed myself into a coma, I think we're done here. I think I'm gonna go back to Plague Island and see what my other self has to say about this. I'm sorry for wasting your time. I am sorry for wasting everyone's time with this disgusting, low empathy Nazi idiot Elliot Rodger wannabe. Well, there we are. Nobody's richer for that experience. Honestly, if this wasn't, JUNC, the month that I was, making a single video each day, I wouldn't have even bothered with this, because it's honestly not worth the time, talking about these people. But I think what's important to note here is that this guy is a dime a dozen. Sure, he might be more overt in his Nazi rhetoric or whatever, but the fundamental way he looks at movies and the way he reviews them, it is just this epidemic. It started with CinemaSins, and you can see it in many other channels, that it's just become this weird obsession with logic and complete detachment from the text and from ideas and from character. And it's the thing that could kill art if art were so weak. But in order to really break something down and counteract it, and create a counterculture to it, you need to understand it. And these low-emp, limp-dick losers will never, ever be up to the task. I can have fun with this, but it's not funny for a lot of people. The fact that it came to this. And, we all sort of watched this happen. We all watched as slowly reviews went from these, weird summaries that said very little about the movies to these opinion pieces where, it's just literally all about whether something's diverse or not diverse. Generally on YouTube, it's all just reactions to things being diverse or things changing. The outrage from anti-SJWs is SJW. It is. These are the people who are trying to shape society or shape the zeitgeist or shape culture in their will. And they have no culture of their own to speak of. They only latch on to these things, these IPs like Star Wars and Mad Max and Ghostbusters and all this 80s shit and everything else because they have nothing of their own. They have given nothing. These neo-Nazis, these alt-righters, these whoever they are, and everyone else who stands with them. We can have the fight with them in the real world over what exactly their beliefs are, but in the art world, they need to step out of the kitchen because they could never handle the heat. That got so much heavier than I thought it would. I really thought this would just be like a fun, goofy meme, fun, goofy joke. But you know, it's impossible. It's literally impossible these days, you know? When you start to talk about the ugliness of the world, it just, you know, it overtakes you. Makes you remember why. Makes you remember, whoa, hey, that's cool. ER is a Nazi, spread the word. He's a fucking Nazi and nobody likes the Nazis. Except for Nazi sympathizers. Hey, my head's a drink. How about that?